Show of hands, has anyone heard of her? Yes, Ryan.
Well, I know that she was born in Corning, New York in 1879. She attended Claveret College and Hudson River Institute in 1869 and studied nursing at White Plains Hospital in 1900.
Wow, you seem to know a lot. That's great.
Yeah, I went to the doctor one time to get birth control and I got a whole history lesson along with it because my doctor loves Margaret Sanger.
Cool. So yes, that leads on to what I was going to tell you next. Margaret Sanger not only worked as a nurse, but she was also a birth control activist and was the founder of Planned Parenthood. In 1910, she started her first publication that promoted a woman's right to birth control. After starting another publication in a magazine called A Woman Rebel, she began to find herself in trouble and eventually had to leave the country in 1915 due to obscenity laws. Am I moving too quickly? Yes, Shaelyn?
What was her early life like before all of this happened?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I guess I should have started with that. Well, Margaret was one of 11 children in her family. Her family lived in poverty because her father preferred to drink and talk about politics rather than earn a steady income. Her mother died early, between the age of 40 and 50, due to tuberculosis, resulting from her body being weak after several miscarriages, 7 in fact. Wanting a better life, she left to get an education. Yes, Cassidy?
How did her career as a nurse lead her to be a birth control advocate?
While she was working as a nurse on the Lower East Side of New York City, she saw many poor immigrant women attempt at cheap, unsafe abortion methods, which often resulted in botched abortions. She was often called upon to look after many of these women who attempted self-abortions. She realized that a safe contraceptive method was needed to decrease injury rate due to risky abortions. After this realization, she devoted her life to allowing women to control their fertility. Yes?
How did Margaret allow women to control their fertility?
After she left the country in 1915 due to obscenity laws, she returned later in the year after charges were dropped. She opened her first birth control clinic in the U.S. in 1916, but was soon arrested along with her staff for providing information regarding contraception and fitting women with diaphragms. She remained in jail for 30 days. In 1921, she established the American Birth Control League, and in 1923, she opened the first legal birth control clinic in the United States. Pop quiz. Do any of you know what factors may have made her work harder?
I know!
Yes.
When she started doing her work with birth control, it was illegal.
Correct. The laws prevented from selling birth control. It wasn't until 1937 that birth control was legal under medical supervision. Here's an apple for you. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So, does anyone know when she died?
She died in 1966, a year after the birth control was legalized for married couples in the States.
Perfect. So I guess a key point here is throughout history, several individuals have been influential to shaping what it means to be a nurse today. That ends our class for today. Oh wait, I almost forgot. On behalf of Margaret Sanger, I'd like to pass down her legacy and hand out condoms, if you need them of course, and samples of birth control and sex education pamphlets. Well, class, review your notes and we'll have a quiz next class. Thank you.
As part of our class project, we were supposed to reenact a protest for supporting Margaret Sanger in her birth control efforts.